Alright, I thought I'd do a little video on electric fence. What I got is a Patriot PE10 fence energizer. You can see it's plugged up. Makes it a little blink when it's pulsing. Good for 40 acres. And here's my wires. These are like an underground feeder wire. So this one with the red is the hot one, and this one's the ground. And I'll show you what we got. I just run them outside under the barn door here. I'll show you what we got outside. I'll get it fixed up. Alright, so here we got the wires coming out, and I could have ran the ground in with this power meter ground here, but they say not to run it near a power meter or any kind of building ground, because if it gets hit by lightning, the lightning will travel up in the ground and destroy your controller. So right here I got the wire, haven't buried it yet, or just a little bit. See, I did bury it here. Took the tractor, this is where I got it buried. Then I go under our driveway here. I just took the tractor and dug some of this gravel out. And the way it connects up, I've got a grounding rod. Let me get the shadows out of here. This grounding rod here. And then here's your hot water. Right here, comes up. I got it wrapped around the pole, and I just got it connected to the center lead, center string. I'm using the, I guess it's sort of like a twine with stainless steel wires embedded in it. And then I just connected, see, I wrapped that onto the top wire, ran it down, wrapped it on the middle, ran it down, wrapped it on the bottom one. Originally, I came around the whole fence. I went around the whole fence and just went around in circles 3 times. But I had to break the wires. See, I wanted to make one continuous wire where I could reuse the wire, but couldn't work out that way because of just when you go one continuous wire, you have to come down. Then say this wire, then you'd have to come down on here, wrap it, and then come down. But then it wouldn't work that way. So if you do this, run 3 wires, tie them together. This kind of twine wire, you can just knot it. Like here, we knotted it. Here's our gate. So what I used for the gate was fence posts. You can get these metal fence posts with the little eyelets on them. I tied one in all the way down here, and then I got these handles where you can undo it, and they're kind of spring loaded on this end, so they pull the wire tight. And that's it. That's I got it all rigged. And then show you something. When you get to a corner here, put your insulators facing inwards instead of outwards. Like you want your insulators facing out, and then when you get to the corner, just face them in. I still got to snap all these on. We're kind of in a hurry trying to beat the light. It was getting dark. So that's it. There's the garden. You can see we're a little late getting the garden in this year, but we got probably it's probably a 100-foot spot here. Show you what we got in here. We got potatoes here. First few rows is potatoes. These are some white potatoes. These rows here, 1, 2, 3. You can tell we got 4 rows of beans. Then we got some red potatoes, I think here. There might be more white potatoes. No, those are the red potatoes here. 3 rows of red, which are just starting to come. More beans. 3 beans, and then we got some sweet corn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of sweet corn. Down here we got beets, which it kind of looks like they may be coming up too. They're really tiny, if you can see them. Some of them way down in there. I don't know if you see any. And here, whatever beet seed I had left, I just scattered it in this end piece here. I didn't make a furrow for them. And we got some tomatoes plants over here. Kind of ran out of room. I was going to do this whole section here all the way up there, but it started getting too rocky in here. There's a lot of rocks. So I quit with the tilling. I don't have anything but a tiller and a box blade. So I used the ripper tines to rip all this up. First I mowed it off with a bush hog because it was pretty tall. You can see how tall everything is. This was all hay. Previous owner had cattle on here and hay. So I took them, mowed it off, then I took the ripper tines through here, then I took my tiller and I stopped tilling here. So when I started tilling over this way, past the fence here, it started getting too rocky. There's some bigger rocks there. There's like a rock ledge in here or something. But these are all the rocks that started digging up when I was tilling like this here. All these along the fence here. A lot more rocks than that. Just I filled my loader twice with rocks. I don't think this has ever been tilled, this property here. It's always hay. I'll show you a little view of the hay field down here. There's a road that goes up this way. This is part of, like, the driveway splits off. And I think they had a road up here because you can kind of see tire tracks through here. You'll see, like, there was tire tracks up and through there. But it goes off a ways, about a quarter mile or so down the road. But that, anyway, that's how I did the electric fence. Just thought I'd show that electric fence. Got carried away talking about everything else. That's basically it. If you're, this seems like the easiest way to put a gate in for me. Right here with these standoffs with the hooked in, the looped ends. They go right on a T-post. And these handles are fairly cheap, I think. Oh, these were maybe $2 or $3. These were like $3. And now this wire is a special wire. Don't use house wiring. This is double insulated. It's for high voltage. It's up to 10,000 volts or 20,000. I think it's 20,000 volts it's set up to. It's insulated twice with 2 different kinds of plastic. It's real rigid. And I think it's aluminum with a copper coating. No, it doesn't have a copper coating. It's just aluminum. Thicker wire. It looks like a number 10 or something like that. Could be 12. But just do that, and I got one of these. This is a splicer, the way I attached it there. And then put your ground rod in. If you don't have much fence, like here I've got less than probably 300 feet of fence at the most. So you don't need a real big ground rod. This one's 3 feet long. But if it's not working good, you might want to add another grounding rod. You can link this up to another grounding rod, like see the pole there. You could put in a couple of them if you're depending on what your soil's like. So that's it. Simple, easy fence. This is just to keep out the deer. And the way I space the wires for deer, this one's about 3.5 feet maybe. And then this one's down a foot. This one's down a little more than a foot. This one's just maybe 7 or 8 inches off the ground for rabbits. Just keep the rabbits out. So there you go, guys. Simple electric fence. Another thing I wanted to mention was when you're working around electric fence, it's best to, unplug it. But if you don't want to unplug it, you can still work around it and not get shocked too bad. Just make sure you got some rubber boots on like this here. So when I was done setting this up, I touched the electric fence, my finger, and it kind of felt like a static shock, like in the winter you get static shock. Now then, I kneeled down and the ground was wet out here, and I had my knee was in some moisture. It was wet ground. Then I touched it and it gave me a jolt you would not believe. It felt like all your tendons were coming out of your arms and legs, my whole body. It'll give you a hell of a jolt. So just be careful. Turn it off if you're working out here.